Today I've got my trusted notebook with me and a cup of coffee, and we are going to talk about Love Island. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me to do this video. I want this to feel like you're on a video call with your best friend. We are going to talk about every single thing Love Island US. The reason I'm doing this video is because maybe you know, maybe you don't, but I have been doing every single episode debrief on TikTok from the beginning of the season up till this point, and now we've reached episode 30. I realized, wow, like that's a lot of talking about Love Island, and I was like, well, let's do a long form version of it. Why not? Maybe sit down, get some popcorn, have a coffee as well, whatever it may be, get comfortable. We're getting into it. Disclaimer though, I know people get really aggressive about this show, and you know what? Me too. I'm annoyed most episodes I'm watching. I get really passionate about it. That's why I wanted to do this video. But this is just my opinion. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just my opinion. You have yours. You don't have to agree with mine. I respect yours. The comment section is a place to talk about it. We can talk about it, but we don't need to be nasty about it. No one's interested in that. Okay, with that being said, let's start the full debrief. In my trusted notebook, I have done a couple pages of what you can see here. I have sectioned it into the dumped islanders and my client, my personal client. If you don't know what a client is, it's this thing that was going around on TikTok. It's basically like your favorite islander. And I've sectioned it into the couple so that we can talk about bullet points on each couple. And then I've got other points that I want to address, just like random, and then expand on them. So we'll start at the beginning. I think I wrote the dumped islanders in order, but we lost Sean, which he seemed like a nice guy. He was with Bea at the beginning, and then Bea didn't really want him because he had a child, and then he obviously got dumped from the island. He seemed nice, but Love Island, I don't think it's a show. I think he was actually too nice for Love Island. Then we had Bea. Bea, I know a lot of people liked Bea. They thought she was cool. They thought she was blunt. I would agree with those things, but I didn't like the way that she spoke about Melanie. I think she was really fake to Melanie's face, because it was one of those things like, with us, she would talk so much crap with us about Melanie, but then to Melanie's face, she never said anything. She was usually the one there trying to console her, blah, blah, blah. But then we know what she really thinks. So I didn't like that. Then after that was Gabriel. After Bea was dumped, Gabriel ran right over to Jen. He couldn't have cared less. He had a lustful connection, which is why he was dumped from the villa. Honestly, I have nothing more to say about that. That was a valid dumping. Then Soul. Oh, Soul. Where she went wrong is she came in with the Casa Girl energy, or the bombshell energy, and she isn't that kind of person. She's a lot more sensitive than that persona requires from you. And she made people think that she was this like baddie, which she's a baddie, but like a sensitive baddie. And so it kind of bit her in the butt. I don't know. I personally, Soul, like, I felt bad for her, but then I was also like, you signed up to go on Love Island. It was bound to be messy. This is what happens. And then when she got dumped, she went and she spoke a lot of trash, like stuff that you could probably not even prove. Like, she started speaking a lot, and I was like, oh, okay, girl, now you look messy, like you've lost me now. Jen at the beginning, she was like not even in the villa. She was in the villa, but she was like barely there. She barely spoke, you barely saw her. She didn't really do much. She had that one moment where she pied sincere, and she was like, you may be sincere, but you're not honest, and like, I love that. I think everyone loved that. She became more relevant later on, so I'll get into her later as well. For Amora, Gal, Caleb, and Jaden, I'm going to talk about them later on when I address other islanders, so I'm not going to do it now. So the first couple I want to start talking about is Bryce and Trinity. Bryce and Trinity, because it's like, there's not really much to say about them because they're the cutest. I think it's clear to everyone. They're the happiest, they're the cutest couple. In fact, they might actually be the only couple that is compatible. I don't see many couples in there that are compatible. They are one of the only, and therefore definitely the best couple. I just think it's really cute that they started off being pretty unsure on each other because of some other people, and then you could see as the days went on how comfortable they got in each other's company, and that just to me is so cute. They look comfortable, they look happy, they really seem to like each other, and I love that. Trin, our girl, is feisty. She is feisty, and Bryce loves when she's got a little flame in her eye. She's so real, she's blunt as hell, and I love that about her. She kind of just, she says it, and she's like, she knows she's right, so it's like, she's not worried about any consequences because there aren't going to be any. But like her moment with TT, she ate down with TT. She ate down. So not much to say about Bryce and Trinity. That's why I wanted to start with them. They're cute, they look happy, and Trinity is the realist. We love her. Next, I'm gonna go to Corbin and Parmida, which also are recently dumped at this point. Not much to say about them. They're literally the dumbest couple on that island. You know, there's really a lack of brain cells in that couple. Let's be real, okay? I know you're not supposed to say stuff like that. There is a lack of brain cells. It's a fact. Parmina was picking the wrong sides. Whenever they were like going in for fights and things, she was being like, I feel very confident. Yeah, girl, you've known him for a couple hours. Like I just thought that was ridiculous. Corbin, he acts like a child. Emotionally, he acts like a child. Everyone's got this Corbin GPT thing going on because he acts like a robot, because he's not very expressive at all. But that's not what I'm addressing. I'm more talking about like when he's talking about Kenzie and Casa, or the things that he says, the high school and college girls reference. He doesn't think about the women as actual human beings. He actually thinks of them as objects. He's very immature and childish, and it's gross. It's actually just gross to watch. So bye. At the end, he had a little bit of a cry moment. He seemed emotional. The experience was obviously impactful for him, but like, you didn't build yourself a great reputation on that show. You may as well have stayed home, I'll be honest. And do we think that Parmida and him are going to stay together now? I doubt it. Casey and Anaya. Obviously, everyone who's up to date knows that they are not together anymore. Casey's a fool. Let's say it the way it is. He is such a disrespectful person. He was horrid about Anaya and Casa, calling her grandma because she didn't want to get intimate with him, saying that they had nothing in common. He was disgustingly messy and forthcoming with that information when she was not there, when he was already moving on. He could have had a conversation before, but no. Why would a guy do that? Why? He was horrible about her. To watch those clips in movie nights, well, even just seeing them in the moment, I was like, that's coming up in movie night. There were so many of those moments. And to me personally, I don't know about you guys, I'm actually very curious to know what you think about this, but I don't think Casey liked Anaya from the very beginning. I just think that they were put together, obviously, and then they both settled, and there weren't enough options for Casey to sort of jump ship. And so he just remained comfortable until the point where Soul came in. He was weak about that, but he was telling some people that he wanted to explore. And then he was like, oh, I can't do this anymore, and just jump ship. I don't think he ever liked her, to be honest. Anaya recently, or from the very beginning, I was like, wow, she's the most respectful. She's so nice. She's so kind. She's kind of shy, but she's such a sweetheart. She's a good friend to Melanie. And it continued up till recently, the last 2 episodes, where I was like, I'm not happy with that. I don't like what you just did. Where I have sort of discovered that she is not a great friend. I just can't wrap my head around how you're super close to Melanie, right? Like you're great friends with her. Probably your best friend in the entire villa. And whenever something has been wrong with Anaya, like the stuff with Casey, Melanie was the first one there, encouraging her, pulling her to the side to console her. She was the first one there, and she was giving her solid advice that Melanie needs to follow too. And when Melanie needed the same from Anaya, Anaya is encouraging her to be in the hurt. She says, I like Cynthia. I'm team Cynthia. No one can stop me. This. I want you guys to get back together. You should do this. You should do that. Encouraging her. What is wrong with you? How can you do that to somebody that you supposedly love? Encourage her to be with the guy that is torturing and tormenting her and draining the life out of her. Like, we can see the life draining out of Melanie as the episodes go on with this man. She's going to get used to him again. And she's going to forgive him. But you should have tried to stop her from getting to that point again. You should have been the one to tell her, Melanie, I will slap you. I will slap you silly if you go back with this fool. But she wasn't doing that. And it's like, if you really loved her, you wouldn't be sugarcoating the shit. You would be telling her the way that it is. I'm not a fan of her being friends with the op and trying to get that back together, because it's like, guys, Melanie is not doing well with this guy. She's objectively not doing well. And us as viewers watching this, it is torment to even watch. I wanted Anaya to be like, you're worth a lot more than that. You need to leave him. You need to run. You need to find someone else. You deserve so much more. Is that not the normal thing to say? Not, oh my God, no, continue getting hurt. Like, we love him. But obviously at this point, Anaya is not with Casey anymore because Casey did her dirty in Casa. We had that full fight at the fire pit, the pick me thing. Oh, which by the way, it was so annoying to hear Casey mention over and over, oh, but nobody picked me at the beginning, you feel me? Oh my God, we get it, you have an ego bruise. No one picked Anaya either. He was such a pain, exhausting, tired, the same shit over and over. And then the girl he brought back with him, Miss I'm TT. This is where it's like, guys, you know what? I'm in all support of holding onto a grudge as tight as possible. I would have conversated with that girl for the rest of my villa time. I would not have spoken to her. She came in with a force for no reason against all the girls. All the Casa girls were speaking like mad crap about the OG girls. She came in to fight. She's defending a man she's known for 2-3 days. You look ridiculous. I'm TT. No one gives a fuck that your name is TT, let's be honest. And that's where Trinity put her in her place. Trinity's a big one on that because she ain't no little girl. Yeah, no, I don't like TT. I don't like TT. Now she's gotten a lot better. Everyone's apologized and they're all like at a better place. But like me, oh no, I wouldn't have been able to talk to that woman. Like that's the thing about the people in the villa. They forget about shit so easily. They move on and they do this and they do that. And everyone's like, oh, because they live in the same house. I don't care. Go to the other side of the house. I'll be here. And I'll be holding on to that grudge like this. Oh, her and Parmita that night were a nightmare. Okay, so piggybacking off of that, we'll talk about Melanie and Sincere. Melanie is my client. I know that's controversial. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about Melanie. She's super frustrating because she keeps going back to the bad guy. I completely understand. I see where everyone's coming from. But for some reason, from the very beginning, I just had this soft spot for her. I think she's so sweet and she's got such a sweet demeanor and she looks like such a kind girl and she does look like a good friend. I know at the beginning we had certain things didn't make her look like a girl's girl, but seeing her more and more, she really does look like a good friend. And I don't know, I love her. She makes the worst decisions, but I think she's a sweetheart and I really like her. Now, I would have been a good friend and I would have told her, get the fuck away from that guy. Run from that guy. He is the worst person I've ever seen on earth. He is chopped. Sincere is the reason that people do not trust men. He is the reason. He is the blueprint. He is horrible. He's so disrespectful. He is the most manipulative person in that villa. He gaslights her constantly. He is such a liar. His name could not be more opposite from what he actually is in there. And watching him over this whole season so far and watching it again on movie night was the most disgusting thing. Everyone piecing it together. I mean, nobody being able to say anything after they saw his clips says it all. It is so bad no one could even say anything. I think they were all worried, like, who are we living with right now? His clips make him look like a pathological liar. And from his actions in the villa, I mean, he never takes accountability, ever. He seems to think that he's this oh so genuine guy, but he never takes accountability. He refuses to admit that their relationship is toxic. He keeps saying, oh, we have toxic moments. That's why it's toxic. Your toxic moments are making it a toxic relationship. Fun fact, Sincere. I will read you the definition. And you know what? He's not even worth it. Like, what does Melanie see in him? I don't understand. I don't get it. This is why I would like, hi, Melanie. Hi. You deserve more. Come on. What does she see in that? And he also, like Corbin, talks about women like they're objects. And it's just every single time I watch him speak about women or being like, oh, he has to share a bed with someone to get to know them. I can't wrap my head around men like that, and I never will be able to, and I don't think anyone should ever tolerate it, which is something a lot of the islanders are having a problem with because they let things slide much too easily, and that's why people do things like this over and over. You need to hold them accountable for a while, if not forever. He's terrible. In fact, if anyone came and told me that they like Sincere or would want to be with someone like Sincere, I think you should go to a psych ward. Right, just saying. Kenzie and Dylan. Dylan gave me a massive ick. At the beginning with your crying. When I was watching that scene of him crying, I thought to myself, is this real? I just couldn't decide, you know, does he feel that strongly towards this girl that he's known for just a couple days, that these tears are real? Or is this BS? I still don't know. I think it's partially fake. It might be some kind of manipulative tactic. I don't know, regardless. Men can have emotion. I'm never saying that's not the case. It is so hot to have emotion, but that did not look real. Also, the way he speaks about it with the boys being like, he made it such a big deal that he was so upset. Like he should be. You should be upset about all those things. But then he's like, oh, but I'm easily gonna fold. So, are you really bothered if you're gonna fold in seconds? Because me, when I'm bothered about something, there ain't no folding happening. There's gonna be no folding. I'm like a brick wall. And I feel like lots of people are like that to a degree. But he would just say he was super upset with something, but no, I'm gonna fold later, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. Weird. Kenzie, also a very controversial islander, and one of my least favorite islanders. Kenzie is the female Sincere. She has taken a page out of his book, for sure. I've seen lots of arguments about her as a person or her actions in the villa. Ugh, I can't even get started on that. What I see in Kenzie is a lot of the time when somebody tells her that she's wrong, or somebody didn't like her behavior, or she did this and so somebody feels this way, she will look at them and be like, oh no, but I was trying to be myself and I was just doing the best that I can and I was exploring and I was doing the Love Island experience. Oh, God, shut up. She never takes accountability. She never just sits there and is like, yeah, I'm wrong. Like when Jen said to her, if you had done this to me in the outside world, I would not be your friend. She said, oh, but I'm not a bad friend. She tries to like combat that as quick as possible. She doesn't sit there and let it sit and try and respond to it in the right way, in a caring, trying to fix it way. She's like, oh no, but I'm not that. No, she never takes accountability. She's playing ping pong with those boys. Ping pong like this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. She always needs to have an option. And at the beginning, it was the point that it was like, oh, we needed to save Corbin to have a conversation with her because she's single. And then from there on, she was the one in the villa with the most options. Never mind everyone else. She didn't care about anyone else, but she always had two guys to fall back on. She fooled one to keep them as the fallback when she knew that she liked the other one more. It's like Corbin and Caleb. She played Caleb so hard. She knew the whole time from the beginning she never liked him as much as Corbin, even though her and Corbin only had a sexual chemistry. But she told Caleb what he wanted to hear and then continued on with Corbin. I'm sorry, I don't respect that. I don't respect that. And quite frankly, if it's like, if you do respect that and that is something that you think is cool or you would do the same thing, that's jarring to me and probably also need to take a look inwards. I would not be friends with a person like that because to me that's like, your morals are fucked up. Like, you are weird for doing that shit. And at the beginning introduction fire pit with Ariana, she was like, she said something about like only ever dealing with one guy. She doesn't know how to do that. She's never had a roster. Girl, what a lie. She's had a roster the whole way through and no one can tell me otherwise. I don't like Kenzie. Also, she was talking mad crap about my client, which Melanie clocked her for recently. I was so happy to see that. That looked like it actually got through to Kenzie. That was the first time I actually saw Kenzie be like, wow, I may have done something wrong. Because what Melanie said was like a deep cut, but it needed to happen. Someone needs to clock some sense into her. I mean, at some point, like even now with Dylan, I don't think she actually likes Dylan that much. I think now, after having conversations with everyone about Gol and everyone being upset with her, she's like, oh, I'm tired of this. I can't deal with this, so I'm just gonna settle with Dylan now. And now she's settling. I don't think that they would last. I think she'll drop him like a hot potato. Because if she was so sure about him when he was giving her everything and really doing the most for their connection, why does she still feel the need to go and try it with Gol? Not only that, take him to a private place and mac on with him. Like, why? It's just, why? I don't like you looking at it like a game. You know, you can call Love Island a game. I don't like that kind of approach. Like, if you are actually there for love, you're not going to be looking at it that way. Like Trinity and Bryce, let's do the comparison game. Once they found someone they liked, they stayed in the same spot and didn't try any other way. That's how it works. Because if you look at Bryce and you actually like Bryce, you're not going to want anything outside of Bryce. And no one can tell me different, honestly. Zach and Kada. I'll start with Kada first. Kada, she's hot as fuck. Wow. Wow. She says she doesn't like modeling. She really needs to rethink that because she is... Oh, she's a baddie. I'm fine with her. I don't feel very strongly towards her. But what I don't like about her is that she lets Zach get away with way too much. She She gives him crap for like 2 to 5 minutes. She'll grill him for a sec. Like that moment at movie night when she was piecing it together, I thought after that she was really gonna give him gears for a while, hold a grudge, maybe drop him. No, she did none of that. It was like 5 minutes. She forgot about it, and then they get intimate that same night. And I don't like, it's kind of like Melanie. Similar in that they're sitting with men that are absolutely awful and choosing to ignore the bad signs that come out of that. Zach is an undercover snake. He is such a snake. He goes to everybody possible. He acts like Switzerland. He gets information and he feeds it to the other side and then acts like he was never involved and nobody sees it. He pits people against each other. He tried to plant seeds in Bryce's ear at the beginning that Trinity doesn't like him and Trinity this and Trinity that, even though she did the whole time. He nearly ruined that. He made Bryce go for his girl, but still his hands were clean in the whole thing. He pretended to Trinity like he never said anything. No one knows any better. He just continues. And he talks mad shit on people. Mad shit. And Kaden never puts him in his place. She just watches it happen. I'm not being funny. If a guy spoke about my friends the way that Zach talks to Kata's friends and about Kata's friends, that would be enough for a breakup. I don't know how to her that's not disgusting. Or like when the movie night was announced and the first thing he did was spill every single thing he had done before that point that he hadn't told Kata about. That is the ickiest, most disgusting, childish thing you can do. Like, what? Now that you know you're gonna be caught, you spill everything? Oh no, he's so gross. He's insecure. We saw that in Casa, but he takes it out on Kata and tries to blame her a lot of the time. He's very childish. I don't know how he's in Love Island. And he's obsessed with Bryce. The bromance that's going on with Bryce and Zach is very interesting. You know what, I'll let you have whatever you want. It's very interesting. It's low-key an obsession though. And the comments that Zach would make after, like when Kata and him went to the hideaway together, and the first thing he said right after they got intimate and they were doing the sheets, and he starts talking about like how, would you kill me if I explore? That is the weirdest thing you could actually say right after. Right after. That is so weird. And right before he went to the hideaway, he gave me the biggest ick ever. I will never forget this. He was like, I'm gonna go be a man in there. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is disgusting. No, he's so icky and Kata has no idea, or she just chooses to ignore it. And she knows now because listen, with the recent challenge, the karaoke challenge, by the way, I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. It is such an eye-opener that her and Zach were put in the bottom 3. More people voted for Casey and Tierra than Zach and Kata. That's how much people don't like Zach. And you know what? I was actually, I was so happy with it. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm happy with Kata going home if it means the possibility of her finding someone else, because she deserves more than that. And I feel like even when she watches this back, she'll be disgusted in his behavior. I think so, I really do. So may as well save her. The public was willing to do it. That America vote thing is so annoying. It's like, you get all the power to pick the bottom 3, but then when it really matters and you can send someone home, they're like, snatch that power, and you don't get to... What's the point? Like, really, what's the point? It's so stupid to me. So for the most part, the men are actually terrible this season. The men suck. They're so horrible, they're so childish. It's like, oof. There's a couple exception men, Carl and Caleb. I love them. They're so nice and they're so sweet and genuine. Everyone needs to take notes. Like, take notes. Caleb's dumping was really unfortunate because he got really unlucky that he had that argument with Jaden the night before. So they all just use that as an easy reason to vote him out. They always choose the easy option. And that was unfortunate. Even though I don't think that Jaden and him were clicking very much, it was more forced than natural. I just wanted Caleb to stay in. And that night, Parmita and Corbin should have gone. The Casa girls were also terrible. I really did not like any of them. I thought they were horrible about the Villa girls. For no reason either. They came into the main villa with preconceived opinions for no reason. I don't know what was going on with them. They all had issues. Amora was like on and off. Sometimes I liked her and then she would open her mouth again and I'd be like, Not anymore. That didn't last long. She didn't even have to come back for a second time. Shame. That poor girl did not last long. Gal is disgusting. Gal was disgusting. That conversation with Jen was mind-blowing. I feel like I lose brain cells when I watch that back. Really, it was crazy what he was saying. Even his sister said to him in After Sun that he was crazy. It was incomprehensible what he was saying. It didn't make any sense. And he gaslit her to the maximum. And then she sort of just ran for it and pretended like it didn't happen. And was like, yeah, we mutually chose to cut it off. But it annoyed me that he got the power to send Jen home, even though it was very clear that he used Jen just to be on TV a bit longer. Jen, on the other hand, okay, this is what I was saying at the beginning. At the end, she really came through. She found her voice. She gave her opinion more. The best thing she ever did in that villa was put Kenzie in her place and tell her, if you did this in the outside world, I would not be your friend. She clocked her so hard, and Kenzie needed to hear it from her specifically. That was, oh my, I was so happy because that's exactly what I would have told her. One of my favorite moments. TT fight was ridiculous. I still need to see where Mela went. I still want to know where Mela went because she obviously turned up and was ready to go there and had to remove her. I need to see those clips. But TT was so unnecessary that night. Oh, I think I already spoke about it. So anyway, but she was a joke. Some of the games this season, guys, can we talk about how disgusting? What the hell? First of all, a lot of slime. Disgusting. A lot of slime. Very sexual this season. Lots of kissing. Like more so than usual. There's always lots of kissing in Love Island, but this season, so much. Thank goodness it calmed down in the latter half. But the games were gross. The one game where they were dressed up as like princesses and princes, kissing people and then sucking feet and then kissing people again. It was the most disgusting thing to watch. And how can you do that? How can you actually do that? Ew. Yeah, a lot of the games have not been pleasant to watch. And you know what? They run for so long. Like it's a whole episode of that one stupid game. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the core four, which when you see them all together, I know I've said the fair share of things about Anaya individually, Kata individually, Trinity and Mela I love. But when they're together, those face guards are so strong, they're so hot. Love the core four. It's crazy how we get so attached, because at the beginning, I was like, oh, this season is kind of boring. But now, like, obsessed with the core four. But they have made a pact. I think it's clear that they want to make it to the end together. And so that's why Kate is reacting so much to the public putting her in the bottom three. That's why Anaya and Trinity are so desperate to keep Melanie with Sincere to the detriment of their super close friend. They all seem very desperate to stay in the same place and not willing to take risks because they want to make it to the end together. I've also seen a lot of people talking about like the beyond the villa theory, like we need to have them on air long enough for the public to care about them so that when they put them in beyond the villa, then people actually want to watch that too, which is so stupid because then it's like it's not a true Love Island experience. So I hope that's not true, but that would make a lot of sense. And it's frustrating, like obviously we'll never know if they did make a pact. Even if they did, they will never admit it because it will make them look bad. But I don't like it if they did that, because for a while it looked like Melanie really wanted to explore, but then she was made to feel bad by everyone because of the whole Sincere stupid situation. Kata had opportunities, she didn't really give into it. Anaya, she was delusional to the point of sitting with Katie the whole time, like just tolerating that. It looked like she settled from the very beginning. That whole thing was not her fault, but I do think she could have stepped out of her comfort zone a bit more. Like now we know that Caleb was interested in Melanie and he was too scared to give it a shot, and I would have loved to see her do that because she needs a nice man or an actual man. That's frustrating to think about. Honestly, everyone, my throat is actually sore. I think I've really done my fair share of a ramble on this. My throat is sore. I would love to know what you think as well. That's what I have in my notes. There's a lot more. Love Island is long, you know, hour-long episodes. You're really taking in a lot of information. That's why we all have so many opinions, I feel like. But I'd love to hear all your thoughts in the comments below, even if they differ from mine. Like I said, I encourage you to speak your opinion. Everyone's allowed to have whatever opinion they want. In this day and age, it's become too controversial to have your own opinion. You're allowed to have your own opinion. Just don't disrespect somebody else's opinion, because you don't have to do that to tell your own. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've just really wanted to do it for a very long time, and I thought it would be a fun and different thing for me to do with you guys and talk about. If you enjoyed it, please let me know, because so did I. I would do it again. I can talk the hind leg off a horse, so this is fun for me. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you want to stick around, and maybe put on the notification bell if you want to be notified when I post next. I would really love having you here, and of course would appreciate the support. And I will see you again very soon for another video. Bye.